Hi everyone. This week, as part of your home learning, you're going to have a writing task to do, and it is all about using a specific type of word, and that word is something that we have thought about before in school, and this type of word is called a conjunction. So on my board, I have got 6 different conjunctions that we're going to use. We've got the word and, but, so, because, if, and when. Now, conjunction is a word that we use in a sentence to join our ideas together, to join two sentences together, to join a sentence with a group of other words, making sure that it makes sense. So in order to do this, I thought, let me give the children a few examples of how they can use the conjunctions in a sentence, because you can have the same sentence starter and then use one of these words and then finish off the sentence to change the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so we are going to start by looking at some sentences that I've half completed, and each of them has the same starting part. So all of them say Max is going to the park, and then I've added the conjunction that I'm going to use to complete the rest of the sentence. So I'm not just going to try and do this off the top of my head, especially for you guys if you're at home. Talk to the people around you. How could you finish that sentence if we're going to use the conjunction and? So Max is going to the park and. What might he do at the park? Max is going to the park and he is going to play on the swings. Or, and he is going to meet his friend there. Or, Max is going to the park and he is going to have an ice cream. Okay, there are lots of different ideas, so I'm going to think about my ideas and then I'm going to write the rest of my sentence for that. So, I'm going to have a look and I'm going to say Max is going to the park and he is, I'd love to be able to write this up for you, is going to, and I'm remembering those key things like finger spaces, my letter formation. He's going to go down the slide. Full stop. So there is my first sentence. Max is going to the park and he is going to go down the slide. Okay, so I've used the conjunction and. I've added extra details and information to my sentence, which is really important because when people read your writing, the more information you give us by using your conjunctions, the more interesting it is to read. Okay? Okay, let's have a look at our next conjunction then. We've completed and. Let me give that a tick off on the board. I need to get a nice big whiteboard, don't I, to sit behind me. So I have completed and done that one. I'm now going to use the same sentence start, but with a different conjunction. So I can add different information in different ways through my word choice. Okay? So we've got the next sentence. Max is going to the park, but. But. Max is going to the park, but. Now this tells us there's going to be something that is a reason against going to the park, or it's a reason he might have to do something before he goes to the park. Okay, so let's have a think of the different ideas that we could have. You have Max is going to the park, but he needs to put on his wellies, or but he needs to go to the toilet before he goes out, like we do with our children. Or Max is going to the park, but he has to tidy away his toys. There is something that has to happen before he can go to the park. So let's have a think. Have a talk with your families. How could you finish that sentence? Max is going to the park, but he needs to eat his lunch first. I'm going to write that, and I'm going to remember to have a go at spelling those tricky words like he. he needs to eat his lunch. Finger spaces are in place first. And I'm trying really hard to use my phonics sounds to help me with my spellings. Okay, so I've got this one. Max is going to the park and he's going to go down the slide. Max is going to the park, but he needs to eat his lunch first. Do you see how they start with the same sentence opener, but actually using that conjunction, it changes what we're putting afterwards to give a little bit more detail. So we know that Max obviously likes slides, but we also know that he's currently eating his lunch. Okay? Moving on to the next. Oh, let's quickly cross that one off, tick that one off. We've done that one. So we have done but. So we've got and but. Next up is, I'm going to do because next. So let's think about, if you're using the conjunction because, generally it gives you a reason for something, okay? So it gives you a reason why. Often or not, it's telling someone why. So Max is going to the park because. Why would he be going to the park? Have a pause for a moment. Have a think with your families. How could you finish that sentence? Max is going to the park because he has been well behaved at home, because he is bored, because he wants to meet his friends, because he enjoys going to the park. What other reasons can you think of? And then you have to do the tricky thing and make a decision about what you're going to write. So I think I am going to say that Max is going to the park because he is meeting his friend there. Oh, friend. Remember, that's a really tricky word, friend. Just sort of spell it like fry with an I, end. Fry with an I, end. I think that's how I was taught to do it at school. So, third sentence. All about Max going to the park, but again, it gives me new information. So Max is going to the park because he's meeting his friend. So he likes slides, he's eating his lunch, but he's also going to be meeting his friends. Gives us more details about what's happening. So Max is going to the park because he's meeting his friend. We have completed because. I'm going to tick that off my list so that I don't forget. So we've got so, if, and when. Let's see if we can complete those and see what other information we can gain from using these conjunctions to join our ideas together and to give us a little bit of extra information. Okay, the next conjunction we're going to look at is if. So Max is going to the park if. This tells me that Max is only going to the park if something else is happening. See, you even say it when you speak. Something else has got to happen pre him going to the park. So let's have a think. Max is going to the park if he tidies his bedroom. Max is going to the park if he eats all of his lunch. Him going to the park means that he has to do something else first. Max is going to the park if he behaves himself. Max is going to the park if he tidies his bedroom. I think I might have already said that one. Max is going to the park if he eats all his lunch. Max is going to the park if he makes himself a drink. Max is going to the park if he tidies up all of his toys. Okay? Have a think with your grown-ups. How could you finish that? I'm thinking I'm going to go with Max is going to the park if he tidies his bedroom. Tidies his finger spaces. Make sure that my letters that have got ascenders go all the way up. Like my H, it goes up. I'm hoping that does it the right way around on the camera. Tidies his bedroom. Lovely, full stop at the end. So there I've got 4 sentences all about Max going to the park, but I've used a different conjunction in each sentence to add different information. Okay, we've got 2 conjunctions left. We've now completed if, so I can cross that off my board. So now we've only got so and when to go. So up next we've got Max is going to the park. When? How could we finish that sentence? Talk it through with your grown-ups and with your families at home. Max is going to the park when his cousins arrive. Max is going to the park when he's finished his lunch. We can almost use it a little bit like and if. Max is going to the park when he has made himself a drink. Max is going to a park when it turns 4 o'clock. Max is going to the park when he has finished his dinner. I think I'm going to go with that one. So put lots of ideas, share your ideas with your grown-ups. Make sure that they make sense before you write them down. When he has eaten his dinner. Have a really good think as well about your tense when you're writing. I know lots of you might have written, instead of Max is going to the park when he's eaten his dinner, some of you may have written Max is going to the park when he has ated his dinner. And of course, that's not the word that we use, is it? We need to think about the tense that we're using and the word choices that we're using. So that is when completed. So that's now 5 conjunctions. Lost my pen. 5 conjunctions that we have completed so far, all with the same sentence opener. So this is going to be what your task links to. I'm going to give you a couple of sentence openers that you need to then use each of the conjunctions to complete the sentences for me. And again, write it down. You can put it into a Word document on the computer if you've got one, and then you can send it to me in an email. If you take a picture, you can send it to me in an email as well. So our last conjunction is so. Okay, so is very similar to the word because in the way that we can use it in a sentence. So Max is going to the park. So why might he be going to the park? It's asking you to give that reason again. So might Max go to the park so that he can go on the slide? Might Max be going to the park so he can visit with his friends? Might Max go to the park so he can get an ice cream? Have a chat with your families. Think about, what do you think? How can you finish that sentence off? I think I'm going to go with Max is going to the park so he can play with his friends. Remember, it's fry with an I, ends. Friends. Okay. Those are our 6 conjunctions we've used in 6 different sentences, telling us all about Max going to the park. Obviously, not all of your sentences that you ever write are going to be about that, but it's just showing you how you can use the conjunctions for the same idea to give extra information. Okay, so as I've already mentioned, your job, if you look underneath in the description of this video and if you look on the school website, you are going to have 2 sentence starters, and you need to write 6 sentences and use each of the conjunctions in the sentences. So you can have 1 sentence with and, 1 with but, 1 with so, 1 with if, because, and when. So 6 conjunctions, so 6 different sentences. Now you can pick to do both of the sentence starters that I do. You can pick to do one of the sentence starters that I do. It's up to you. You could even, and I'd be super impressed if you could do this, have a go at creating your own sentences, maybe about you, maybe about your family, maybe in your own story, using each of the conjunctions in different sentences. That would be super. So have a go. Send me what you do, because I do love to see what you're up to at home, and enjoy your task. Thank you.